Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Yvonne Heath with Love Your Life to Death, and I'm so happy to have in the studio with me Dr. Dave McClendon. Dave works in the emergency room and is also an associate professor mentoring young doctors and also has a family practice. So he has a great deal of experience, and we talk about how difficult it is when people come into the emergency room and they're ill prepared for end of life. We also have Mary Jo Turnbull, who is one of the most amazing nurses I've ever met and people, and she shares with us her most personal journey of when her first husband was going through his dying process and finding joy again. Here's a quick clip. I had found this article Sunnybrook Hospital had put together about end of life and planning for end of life, which, as you know, I've written a book in the fact that we have a death phobic society and we don't really embrace talking about end of life and end of life planning. And I came across this disturbing statistic where it said 70% of elderly patients say they would prefer a less aggressive treatment plan focused on providing comfort rather than a technologically supported, institutionalized death. And yet, 70% of people are dying in the hospital, and many of them in intensive cares. And I just wanted to hear what you would say, speak to that, because you work in the emergency department as well, and often see people come in to emerge and inevitably end up in the intensive care. So what do you think is happening in our society?
Well, I think you have to be a little bit careful about getting onto this freight train of medical care. And what I mean by the freight train is in medical technology, there's lots and lots of things that we can do, but we often have to step back and say, there's lots and lots of things that we should do. So just because we can do something doesn't mean that we should do something.
When I was talking to Dr. McClendon and we were talking about people coming to emerge, and sometimes it's end of life and people are not ready or accepting, and I said, is there opportunity in the dying process? And that is why I so wanted you to be here today. You shared your story. It's in my book, Love Your Life to Death, which I absolutely love. And can you just tell me a little bit about Garver, your story with Garver?
Yeah. We were young sweethearts. I married him at the age of 18, much to my parents' dismay. They were not happy with that. But, I knew what I was doing for sure with him. And we had 23 years together, 2 wonderful children, my son Jeffrey and my daughter Christine, both very successful adults. And we were on this journey till about the 21st year is when he took sick. Discovered him to have he was about a year not knowing what was wrong with him. And finally, this was before the ages of MRIs and such. And so it took quite a while for them to diagnose this huge brain tumor that he had. And surgery took place, radiation followed, with basically them telling us that he had a year, that gave him a year. So we just made the best of the year that we could. And that was when he decided that I really needed to be taking care of myself and fulfill my own dreams. And he basically pushed me into taking up nursing at the age of 41, going back to school.